very healthy crowd have stuck around to see what should be a highly entertaining match. It's a big opportunity Zhao has here, Neil, to show us what he can do, but he's bound to be feeling a bit nervous playing a legend like Ronnie O'Sullivan out there.
Yes, in a way you'd hope there were nerves, because that's really important.
You know from the last game. Ronnie, all the best.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Zhao, all the best. Have a good game. Wait until the cameraman tells us. Okay.
Just seeing Leo sculling out there.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Some instruction.
The first frame, Zhao Xintong to break.
But, we have to wait to be cued on, or the players do, but we're all set and ready to go. Left-hander with a real gift. Not the finished article. Interesting listening to Jimmy White saying, boy, can he pot. Well, there are signs that he is an extreme talent, but this is the biggest test of his career and his young life so far. Of course, lots of waiting around for O'Sullivan. A lot has been made of that, but of course Zhao Xintong has also had to wait, and he was expecting to play at the same time, so it is the same for both. It's not ideal, but hey, snooker matches are not like football matches where finishing 90 minutes. There's a bit of Fergie time, but sometimes in snooker that's about for another 5 hours, not 5 minutes.
Well, back in the quote good old days unquote at the Crucible, we had all kinds of, not so much late night drama, but middle of the next morning drama, didn't we? The likes of Thorburn and Griffiths. And
well, yeah, that match finished at 3:51 in the morning. That was actually the match that's best remembered for the 147 that Cliff made. Didn't start till late though, and they didn't go on at 7:30 or whatever it was. They were delayed initially. So these things happen.
And it's the youngster who gets the first point of the match on the board. A little bit unlucky to finish right in front of the red.
Well, it's a fabulous shot actually to hit the side cushion and bottom cushion. He's unlucky, as you say, on the black, but he's got a shot at the pink. Well, already, if you've not seen him play before, and there is a chance, perhaps, even if you're a snooker enthusiast, that you haven't, you can see what he is. He's a left-hander with natural ability. He's raw, but a clean potter of ball. Who, I mean, a lot of the young Chinese players coming through, kind of slightly more mechanical. Not all of them, but this is one with true natural skill.
He's already beaten Ken Doherty, former world champion, of course, as a 15-year-old. Beat Steve Davis as well.
14.
To take out Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan, though, would be an entirely different kind of achievement altogether in front of a big crowd. O'Sullivan, as we know, has been queuing superbly well, just missed out on the European Masters title to Trump.
21.
And breezed through his first round in under an hour against Jimmy Robertson.
22.
But Zhao didn't waste any time either in round one, beating Wang Yuchen, also 4-0. So would have gained confidence from the comprehensive nature of that victory.
And just finally, with the fact that he's twice been World Amateur Championship runner-up, Pankaj Advani, the wonderful Indian billiards player, come snooker player, beat him, didn't take up his place on the tour, hence
28.
Zhao's inclusion for the year. Because he didn't make it actually at the time through Q School, kept falling at the final hurdle there. But he's an addition to the tour in every sense of the word.
$35. Thank you.
Well, that wasn't easy either, and the angle he has suggests he can go into the bunch with quite a lot of ease here. Whether he gets on one's another matter, but if he did, he could be on the brink of winning the opening frame. Big shot this. Wow. I love the way he played the shot. He really plowed into the bunch.
What a confident
40p.
opening. Zhao looking like a veteran in this frame so far. A real sense of purpose around the table.
44.
He looks cucumber cool.
Just a little bit loose, that shot. I think Ronnie, deep down, of course we know he wants to win, he wants to win all the matches, but deep down he will admire watching a player of this kind of ability and know what he's like. He feels the same about Judd Trump, despite having lost to him, of course, at the weekend in Budapest.
It was interesting listening to Trump the other day after his first round win talk about playing O'Sullivan, and of course he's seen a lot of him recently as they've been
47.
playing a series of exhibitions, and he says, well, firstly that he feels that O'Sullivan's playing as well as he's ever done, but also how much he's been able to learn just by watching O'Sullivan at close quarters, and how it's a slightly strange dynamic facing the Rocket, because
52.
it's almost as though he was wanting to impress O'Sullivan with the quality of his play. That's the impact that this guy has had on the game.
53.
But there's always room for a new superstar, Neil, and it's great to see young blood like this with so much talent.
Yes, and that's worked out well. Also, in red with a high value colour, and the frame is his. Well,
61.
I think he tried to pinch the pocket there to enable him to stay lowish on the black, but he doesn't want to be doing that too often. That only just wriggled in. This is a wonderful start. I don't know quite that we've finished seeing
68.
this break yet. There's more to come, I feel.
Well, that was frame ball, barring snookers.
69.
But now you're beginning to see what the hype is all about. What an opening.
And the other point is, of course, playing on this kind of stage against such a great player, some players will turn to jelly. It clearly is not the case with Zhao.
76. 77. '84.
Oh, what a
85.
moment it would be for Zhao to make a century in the very first frame of his very first professional meeting with Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's a distinct possibility now.
Well, especially with that shot, it was a good
92.
one. Got right in behind the red. Ronnie can console himself. He hasn't done an
93.
awful lot wrong. He missed a red to the middle pocket. Zhao's opener was a pretty good one. He's not looked back since.
One good shot with the rest, and the century
98.
should be his for the taking. What a break this has been. Wonderful. Well, they've waited some time to see Ronnie O'Sullivan
103.
step out into the arena, but it's his opponent
105.
that's dazzling them in the early running.
Point is, Philip, this is what people have been expecting for a long time. Every time anyone asks you about snooker, they say, well,
108.
there's lots of young Chinese players coming through. Yep, that's been the case for a while, but this could be the real start of an influx of players of this ability. There are,
112.
I would think, 4 players of a similar age who are just about to head into the higher ranks. We're seeing what kind of precocious talent this one's got. Zhao Xintong, a name that you're going to see and hear a lot more of. This has been a wonderful break.
123.
Stunning stuff. Appearance at 130 against Ronnie O'Sullivan in the very first frame. Wow. This is some time. 1-1 lead.
Okay, Ronnie.
What a start to our final
second frame
feature match.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
On this third day of the English Open. 19-year-old Zhao Xintong of China has cleared the table after Ronnie O'Sullivan missed a red to left centre. Quite wonderful break of 130 to underline his enormous potential. And the Rockets got a match on here. A number of big hitters have gone out today. Mark Selby at the start of the day, seems a long time ago now. Stephen Maguire beaten by Ryan Day. Sean Murphy going out in recent times to Liang Wenbo. Another match that went the distance.
Played it well enough, actually. Yeah, I think the reason that it seems a long time ago that Mark Selby lost is because it was a long time ago. Might be the answer, mightn't it?
Yeah, it was a 3-hour epic. Got underway just after 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Well, we know that Ronnie's got to back up a fine safety game, and never in his career has it been more important to show his vast experience. Usually players are chasing the game against him, but for the moment he's kind of just chasing this match. There's only one down in a short frame format, best of 7. And he's got to get that cue ball safe. Well, that's a weak safety shot. It was such because he hit the red a little bit on the thick side. And that's the one aspect of his game which is clearly not going to be as good as some of the other players on the tour. You can't buy experience and tactical knowledge and nous. It comes with time.
Thank you.
A little fortunate that he covered the available red with the blue, so no damage done.
Well, there's another example of exactly that. He hit that one on the thin side and he's got away with it again, but that is not going to keep happening. Already, I think Ronnie is just sizing up that if he keeps his opponent at long range, he will eventually get chances. In amongst the balls, he looks, at the moment, as dangerous as Ronnie himself.
Thank you.
That's the way to do it. Find that baulk cushion.
This really is trouble. That centre is a path. Bottom cushion, right side cushion, up the table. But he's opting to play as if in a snook and just nestle on the reds at the bottom. That's not the worst shot. The kind of shot that could see him in more trouble if Ronnie hasn't got a pot to go for. Or he can just get through to that one. That's a good shot to roll it in. It wasn't an easy shot to play at very little pace, actually.
Six. Seven. $14.
I was sure to be disappointed with that shot because he certainly didn't want to go into that red. Stayed up the cue will no end. No, overcut it. Shot before was the problem.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 14.
Went full-blooded for the pot. Oh, he's been lucky.
One.
That's a pretty outrageous fluke, actually.
So O'Sullivan with a fluke. How handy is that going to prove to be for him?
Eight.
Well, it was a really poor safety shot from Ronnie, and you've got to ride your luck and take it when it comes. I don't think Ronnie is the best at that. He almost, as if there's an element of slight guilt when he plays such a bad shot by his standards and he gets the benefits from that. He doesn't. You ever feel that he's going to really take somebody to the cleaners when that happens? But he's got to do that here. He's got to use the good luck to his fortune, to his advantage, because he could really do with this frame. He looked a little bit ragged so far by his, once again, high standards.
14.
There have been periods
15.
during O'Sullivan's career where that perfectionism of his has served to be some kind of torture for him mentally. His inability to accept at times that he can't play as he would like every time he steps
20.
out on the table. I think he's a lot more forgiving of himself these days when things don't go entirely to plan.
21.
There's quite a few on here. That was a kick. It was very tinny.
It's very rare that O'Sullivan gets the cue ball cleaned, even when he does get a kick.
27.
Just gets on with it. I think the jury's out still as to whether cleaning the cue ball has any effect.
28.
That's not gone to plan either. So a slightly scratchy start from the Rocket.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 28.
42-point lead nonetheless.
that was a double kiss that took the cue ball up the table there. And has left something for O'Sullivan with the rest.
Thank you. One.
Well, what about that for a shot? If you get a chance, we'll try and get you a look at again. It could well be enough for O'Sullivan to win this frame.
6. Seven.
I mean, it wasn't a dead set plant. It was nearly there. Had to slightly make it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 7.
Hard to fathom. So a chance for Zhao to get back into this frame. 49 points adrift, but still
One.
plenty there. Don't see many of those a season from O'Sullivan.
Tell you what I would say here. I wish Zhao would use a different type of chalk, because the table's a mess on that left side, on that right side there. Again, we might be able to get a look at it, but there's so many
9.
chalk marks, it's unbelievable. And we'll get more kicks. Just to the right of the black spot there, all these screw shots he plays have a huge chalk mark on the table. And if we're going to get kicks, that mightn't help. Look at all those. We've only played a couple of frames,
16.
not even that. And I don't know what he uses for chalk, but it's making a mess of the conditions out there.
17.
Well, what a frame this would be to win for Zhao. The first was achieved by a quite brilliant clearance of 130. O'Sullivan's had a couple of chances to put this away. He's had some good fortune as well, but only mustered 49 points from all of that.
23.
Yellow and green, the obvious problems in terms of
24.
possible clearance. But right back in the frame now.
Well, the chalk mark's not distracting Zhao. That was a good shot, not received with any applause, but
31.
of course the clearance is, nothing's impossible, but it's nigh on where yellow and green are. To get from one to the other, I don't see it happening unless something gets shifted before then.
32.
And that was a good kiss, actually. It gives him a chance to get from brown to final red.
$36.
Time to lay a good snooker. Red on, or close to a colour would help matters here. The snooker's its certainty.
O'Sullivan's initial 49-point lead reduced to just 13 with 35 left.
Room to go around the back of this. It could have been a slightly better effort. As I say, red next to the yellow would have been interesting for possibilities of a free ball. Ronnie could conceivably go around the back of this. Oh, it was there. It was on.
Foul and miss.
And as he left a free ball.
Zhao Xintong, 4.
That's an important question. I don't think so, but the red is available. Well, I'll stick to my guns and say that to clear up with the yellow and green where they are is one in about 1,000, I would think. So it's probably going to take more than one visit to the table to make that happen.
Zhao Xintong,
Just a little bit
1.
casual on the pink.
Yeah, I think so. Thinking about the shot which is coming next. But there isn't one, as well as he is concerned now that he's missed the pink. Well, he's very uncomfortable looking on this shot. He's got up a couple of times. Keeps changing his mind. Well, he doesn't look as sharp tonight as he did in his previous match last night. There's no getting away from that. He has been pressurised, which is always part of it.
Thank you.
So he's got a bit lucky though with the brown. So this frame still very much in the balance, 8 points between them.
It's an important part of the match, this. Ronnie, if he wins this frame, he takes the sting out of things by doing so. Wins the score level, but from 2-0, I think Zhao Xintong would fancy the job.
A number of surprises today, not least the demise of world #1 and reigning world champion Mark Selby, and over on one of the outside tables, Judd Trump 2-0 adrift at the moment.
Yes, Judd Trump playing Jamie Bodle, who was the 100th winner of the English Amateur Championship, which is the oldest senior competition of the lot. A lot of great players have won that. That man, Ronnie O'Sullivan, beaten in the final many years ago as a particularly young man. It's good contact. Really play a snooker, but I tell you, he played a pretty good shot out of one. Plenty of the yellow.
So often a double kiss leads to trouble, and Sullivan can pop this yellow.
The problem is, though, Philip, is how does he get on the green? And if he misses the blue, this is a very fine effort. He's a few bit of shot, though. The angle was perfect. He's run a ball's width too far, which makes this shot, if he plays it at all, difficult. He knows it could cost him the frame if he goes for this and leaves it over the pocket. It's a risk that he may or may not feel the need to take.
Fortune favouring the brave. Sullivan thought twice about that one. He knew it was risky. But now,
Nine.
it's surely a frame winner and a match leveller.
Well, just a little bit of work to do here. Playing this down the bottom, these can be missed. He knows this has got to be given his full attention. And
14.
I think with the sides release, it's not an O'Sullivan sort of frame, rather scrappy towards the end. It doesn't suit him, but
20.
we've got a game on our hands here.
Yes, no fireworks as yet from the rocket, but they'll be delighted to have levelled the match after that blistering start from the teenager Zhao. And it's honours even after 2 frames, 1 apiece.
Thank you. The 3rd frame. Zhao Xintong to break.
Zhao Xintong of China, 19 years of age, with a burgeoning reputation as being an outstanding natural talent. He proved that in the opening frame. Quite magnificent clearance of 130. But Ronnie O'Sullivan, in bits and pieces, and without really convincing so far, has levelled the match at 1-1. But maybe that's about to change.
It's a beautiful shot, this. He played it in such a way he probably wouldn't have left him very much. But finishing low on the black is what he was looking for as well. And that's where he's so good, the little nudges and cannons. Pushed the red into the bunch, but he's given himself options on the other 2.
8.
And it never takes very much for a player like O'Sullivan to click into top gear. Just one moment of inspiration and suddenly it looks like $1 million again.
9.
And he would have been heartened by winning that last frame. It had that look about it. Zhao Xintong was getting to the colours, having
14.
got back into it.
Yeah, it was a good putt on the green, wasn't it? Because that was missable. Decided to go all out for it and was rewarded.
$15. Sorry, Ronnie, there you go. $22. 23.
O'Sullivan currently tied in 2nd place with Steve Davis and John Higgins on 28 ranking
30.
titles. Stephen Hendry now retired,
31.
at least for the time being. Still well out in front on 36. Well, how often does O'Sullivan go into the clutches and not land on one? It's pretty rare.
38.
Yeah, played it nicely. Stunning top spin.
$39.
Well, this time I think he is stuck to a couple of reds actually. Didn't have to go into them there, but he never questioned his shot choice. I think he took what he thought was a calculated risk to go into the bunch, but on this occasion it's gone wrong. As again, you saw from that view there, the table's in a terrible mess with the chalk. But, look at those 2 reds from down low.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 46.
Open to debate as to whether he went for that one or not. Not too sure, actually. Still not. But, with the cue ball finishing where it is, I would suggest he played the safety.
Again, a handy lead for O'Sullivan.
Well, he had tried to hit the first jaw and take the cue ball back up the table, but unfortunately he hit both jaws.
That was a little ambitious, particularly when you're 40 odd adrift. against Ronnie O'Sullivan.
This is a shot again, tried to just bump it back down the table, but it went horribly wrong, actually.
Thank you. Thank you. One. Three.
Making sure that he does get a slight angle to stun down for the next red.
Four.
That was a great shot. He's wide in the angle by the pace. He hit that ball.
10.
Well, he seems to be back rocking and rolling here. Certainly on the back foot after frame one, and part way through frame two.
But in no time at all, he's on the cusp,
17.
doing enough for a 2-1 lead.
There's a bit of work still to be done. Couldn't avoid the red above the
18.
one he was playing, but he'll be more than happy with that outcome.
This is frame ball. And normal service would appear to have resumed for the Rocket.
23. 24. $30. 31. 38. 39. 46.
For the moment, not only is O'Sullivan taking a 2-1 lead, he's just keeping Zhao off the
47.
table, which I think is quite important, actually. Giving him a look in, reminding him what he's up against here.
54.
Made the perfect start, Zhao. A real statement of intent with that total clearance of 130.
55.
And had one or two chances in the second frame. But this one has been monopolised by the 5 times world champion.
58.
He's beginning to flow. Normally, that spells trouble
60.
for whoever he's playing.
$63.
His first sizable contribution of this match.
67. 72.
Well, that was, again, how did he force that sort of an angle? Extraordinary shot, actually. I know it was an exhibition shot, end of frame. Dead parts of a frame. If you're a snooker enthusiast, I
78.
don't think you'll be turning this off, because this match is it's got potential to be one of the great matches of the season.
Terrific start from both players, and Ronnie O'Sullivan has come to the party now as well, having lost the first frame to that wondrous 130 from the man in your picture. He's hit back to win the next two. He leads 2-1.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Frame 4, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
And a match that's been well worth the wait. Protracted third day of the English Open live from Event City in Manchester. Some lengthy matches, not least Mark Selby's one earlier on today with Liam Highfield. Selby bowing out in a 3-hour epic, but what a start to the match we've seen. Chinese teenager Zhao Xintong with a 130 clearance in the opener. And O'Sullivan hitting back in frame 3, having taken a scrappy second with breaks of 46 and 85. Zhao not troubling the scorers in that one, so O'Sullivan in front. But look at that pot success, Neil. I mean, those stats are outstanding.
Well, yeah, he was 100%, of course, after frame 1 was Zhao. And he's potted 47 from 49. As far as the long pots are concerned, well, the ones that Ronnie's gone for, he's got 4 from 4. Zhao had the one he went at, which he missed. That's all that is. It's pretty good 4 from 4 at long range, as well as what he does at close range. And that's a difficult shot to go for. You kind of sense all the way that you're watching somebody with a few rough edges when not in amongst them. I mean, this was a dangerous shot to play at that pace, leaving other reds, which he has done.
One.
Almost presenting O'Sullivan with a chance he hadn't really worked to get.
Zhao looking to play to his strengths by going for the very tough pot. If he'd got it, well, he could well have made it pay, but against O'Sullivan, you got to get them, otherwise you can be punished. Didn't want the cannon on the yellow, however.
No, it's scuppered him actually. The red up the table is now one that I don't know if you can get to the potting angle, or it must be extremely tight. Well, you'll have to play it with a bit of left-hand side, just bend it around the brown ball. And that's never going to be an easy shot to
Ronnie
play.
O'Sullivan, 6.
With a little bit of side into a middle pocket at that sort of an angle.
So Zhao somewhat let off the hook. O'Sullivan playing a poor positional shot by his standards. That was tricky.
Well, Zhao can cut the red to the middle. Cue ball could finish anywhere.
One.
Oh, goodness me, that is an outrageous piece of good fortune. It could have finished anywhere, but the odds of finishing in behind the black were pretty slim.
Yeah, he's good, but he's not that good. But he'll take it all day long. What an opportunity this is.
9.
You know how deadly he can be when he's in amongst them.
Well, as a player, this is what he is. This really is all of his game right now, and he plays it very well. The rest, of course, will
16.
certainly come in time. But, from what I've seen of him as a scorer, he's probably in the top 20 in the world.
His official ranking at the moment is a career high in 93, but of course he's only been a pro a matter of months. He's going to go an awful lot higher than that.
Well, even that shot was absolutely beautifully played. I mean, the pace
24.
was so precise.
25.
And the sound the cue makes, everything is just right. He just pings the ball. Well, if he isn't on one, And that good luck that he had at the start of this break has ended.
A shake of the head would suggest there's certainly nothing
42.
straightforward anyway.
Yeah, this is a really fiddly little shot to play the cup. But he's got it.
43.
And with the yellow up the table, it gave him a bit of insurance. If he'd have missed the red, he wouldn't have left anything but the red he was playing.
I'm sure O'Sullivan has already seen enough to be impressed.
Point is, it won't be a huge surprise to Ronnie, because he may have even seen him play. I think I heard Ronnie say he played him in an exhibition, but word always gets round the snookering world of players like this. He's not news to the people that
37.
in and around the circuit.
38.
Plays at a fair old lick as
45.
well, doesn't he? Sights the ball so quickly.
46.
Well, he's just got the gift, hasn't he? He's just got the gift. Both players are flying round. O'Sullivan is as quick as anybody in and amongst the balls, but Zhao is matching him in every department of the scoring side of it.
53. 54.
Personally, I hope he has a long career and I hope he never changes. Okay. Tactically he'll improve, but all this we want to see more of. It's a joy to watch him play.
61. 62.
Getting close to the winning line to level this match. Just dropped in off the far jaw. That
69.
means that this red will leave Ronnie O'Sullivan requiring snookers. Ronnie's quite enjoying watching this as well. Yes, of course he wants to win. But this is the kind of snooker that O'Sullivan would very much champion the cause of.
Yeah, he would enjoy it. And somebody up in the studio as well, Jimmy White, and I have to say, his style of play is so similar to a young Jimmy White. Plays very similar game, but such natural skill.
85.
Something about the left-handers, isn't there? In all sorts of sports, they just bring a certain je ne sais quoi.
86.
Obviously could do with an angle on this, because to force this in and get up to the
91.
black, it's going to take some doing. Well, he made sure of it,
92.
actually. It's quite sensible. Cue ball coming towards the red naturally from the angle on this black.
Well, from the minute that admittedly got lucky with his position on the black, none of this has been in doubt, really. He has looked utterly assured about his prospects of making a second century break of the match. This really is the kind of thing that you tend to remember long after it's over.
We've got one or two people in the audience shaking their head there in disbelief, I think.
107.
Snooker's a very difficult game, but when you see someone playing it with such ease, you sometimes wonder if it is all that tough. Wonderful.
O'Sullivan is still very much in a match here. 2 centuries from the man in your picture, and it's 2 apiece.
Thank you. Thank
veritable
you.
feast
Frame 5.
of high-class
Zhao
snooker in
Xintong
our
to
final match on day 3 here at the English Open. If you haven't seen Zhao Xintong at close quarters before, well, you're unlikely to forget what you've seen so far tonight. 2 quite sublime century breaks. Ronnie O'Sullivan chipping in himself with 85 and 46. Took frames 2 and 3, but pegged back in the 4th by more brilliance from the Chinese.
Absolute peach from O'Sullivan. That's 5 long pots, and they are really all going in the middle of the pocket. The acceleration through the ball, those long shots, is as good as it was when he was about 16 years of age right now.
Yeah, and I think his long potting is actually better now than it's been for a very long time. There was a period where he went off the boil from long range, but he's got that side of his game back with interest.
It's a good shot as
6.
well. He could have gone into the bunch. The pink was ahead of the pack and protecting him somewhat. Chose to take the
7.
skillful route rather than looking for some good luck. Playing on a red with perfect placement.
Yeah, the danger for Zhao is that the quality of snooker he's producing is liable to inspire O'Sullivan to greater heights.
14.
Very best players have a habit of bringing the best out of each
15.
other. That one just slipping in off the near jaw.
Chance to go into the bunch here with the red out in the open if he wants to. And Ronnie never shirks the issue, does he? He always plays the right shot at the right time.
Plays it so
22.
well. Seems to know how to hit that cluster of reds to
23.
give himself options.
Well, he could go into them again, although 3 reds are out in the open. He might take a risk not to, with a chance to accumulate more points. There is a slight angle on this black, though. Probably not a wide enough angle, actually. So, even though he'll pick off 1 or 2 reds, he'll be looking to get 1 further, go into the bunch to win the frame in 1 visit.
31. $38. $39.
Now what does he do? Again, the red sticks out. Pink still not really making it easy to go into the bunch. There's an element of the unknown if he tries to go into the bunch from here. More so than ever before on a shot like this. It's almost the kind of bunch of reds he'd like to play from the black into them if he could, rather than the blue. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did play down on the black here, actually,
41.
for that reason.
$42.
There's your answer. This is absolutely perfect, and these small little things, the decisions he makes, are the reason he's such a wonderful player. Oh, fabulous. Bit to do here, but still well played.
49.
I think he'll end up playing the red up into the green pocket. Seems a safer option. Can play it into the middle. This certainly is red is the one.
50.
But not perfect for once, actually, on his next colour. Just the extra he had to put into
50.
that. It was, for once, a cue ball that wasn't perfectly in place. Had to hit that a little bit hard from on the side rail.
6-1.
This is an even bigger test for me. Zhao, 50 behind, having done precious little wrong. What's he got here? Big question. After that shot, we're going to find out in the next 5 minutes or so.
8.
He's perfect.
Yeah, that was missable, wasn't it? So often you see a shot like
9.
that, miss to the near jaw. But in it went, didn't touch the sides, and now big opportunity for Zhao to make big inroads into that O'Sullivan advantage. A different kind of pressure playing catch-up in a frame.
$14. $15.
An interesting one here. You've got a slight angle on this pink. Decides to just drop it in. Wondered if he would think of disturbing the two reds, but he did check to see if the left one of the two would go to the middle pocket. I think it does. That's for about 2 shots' time.
21. $22.
He looks like a young man who believes that he belongs on the big stage, Neil.
Certainly. And those reds actually go to the right corner as well. Not as tangled up as they look from that view.
29.
Ronnie can do very little about this now. There's a feeling of helplessness sometimes.
30.
The opponent is clearing up. He didn't have much room to play with there. It was a wonderful shot, actually. Perfect
37.
again. If he goes any further, he's not on the red.
38.
Biggest shot of the match for me, this next one. If he lands it behind the red, he can go 3-2 up.
And if he does it, it would be every bit as impressive as the 2 centuries he's made.
What a marvellous shot.
46.
Now another pressure shot here. Stun the black in around for the yellow.
$53. 55.
Well, this has been scarily good. Always the danger for a young player like
58.
Zhao. Big talent though he is. But he could freeze on the big occasion.
Needed.
62.
No sign of it though, Philip.
No, on the other hand, on the contrary, he's relishing the opportunity. What a break this has been.
67.
Never looked in trouble.
Well, I'll ask the question, what's he got? Well, we've seen the answer. He's got plenty.
73.
Clearance of 80 from Zhao Xintong after Ronnie O'Sullivan was in first with a 50 advantage. It didn't faze the youngster. And now he leads the Rocket 3-2.
Thank you. Frame 6, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 28 times a ranking titleist, 5 times a world and UK champion, 6 times a Masters champion. But a frame away from defeat to Zhao Xintong, 19 years of age, ranked 93 in the world, but playing like a top 8 player this evening and producing some really sublime skill in amongst the reds. He may be a bit rough around the edges tactically, but my goodness, when he's had the chance to score, He's grabbed it with both hands. Breaks for 130, 107, and that wonderful 80 clearance from 50 behind to win the 5th frame. And O'Sullivan, make no mistake about it, is now under pressure. He's got to win the remaining 2, well within his compass, of course, but he also knows that if he misses Neil, he's likely to be punished.
Ronnie's not missed one long pot, 6 from 6. So he's getting himself in, making 1 or 2 errors. And Zhao can barely think of anything in amongst the balls that he's missed, that he's gone for. But of course, getting over the line is going to be the next problem, the final hurdle. I get the feeling it won't bother him that much, but he's still got to do it. And it would be the biggest win of his career by a mile. Very hard, and will need luck to get away with it. He puts his hand up. I don't know if he actually left enough of the red out to make it potable. Well, that was a bit of a wild one for once. Bit of a swish from Zhao. More so than the pot. The way he controlled it.
Big crowd has stayed on here in Event City to see O'Sullivan take on Zhao, and they've been royally entertained.
That was a great shot. Ploughed the cue ball through the bunch. He didn't really know that he'd be on one, but it gave him every chance of being on one. Not done with yet. The last frame was a severe blow, but it's not end of match.
O'Sullivan with vast experience to draw upon. He's been in tight spots before and got out of them. And if he does go on to win this match, I'm sure he will be the first to lavish praise on the potential of his opponent. You don't see a player like Zhao every day. And clearly, he still has a lot to learn. He's ranked down at 93 for a reason. He's yet to find any consistency on the main tour. But of course, he's only just joined it, so it's very early days.
Tough team.
Yes, and of course, it is his first year, so points-wise, he's always lagging behind the players that have been on the tour longer. Of course, it's a 2-year list. So you get another opportunity next year, whatever happens. A bit of pressure on this shot because whichever red he picks, the
18.
The right corner it is. As you can see, stretching, possibly doing damage if he misses it. Goodness, that was risky. It was difficult.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 18.
He's annoyed, but he shouldn't be underestimating how difficult that shot was. It looked difficult the way he was standing on the table. He was really stretching. Playing the cross double here. Ooh. Safety error. He really can't afford those.
So a chance for Zhao to get back in.
1.
And in this kind of position this evening, he has been irresistible. But the added pressure now, of course, of trying to win the frame he needs for a very famous victory. And whatever he goes on to achieve in his career, and I think we're all agreed it's likely to be something very significant, he'll never forget this win if he can pull it off. As Neil mentioned, it would be the biggest of his life so far.
Thank you.
It could be
7.
a real launch pad for something special in the months and seasons ahead.
$14. 15.
Well, the angle might be there to go into them. Down to the bottom of the cue, but it's playing on the loose red by the pink.
$22.
So the next shot important up for the blue top side, then into the remaining reds in the bunch.
23.
Big shot. Where the reds are shaped, it doesn't hit them flush on. The cue ball just could slide off them a little. That's exactly what happened.
28. Zhao Xintong, 28.
Well, for O'Sullivan fans, the good news is he didn't win the frame in one visit, like he has been doing.
Safety battle, all important from here on in this frame, with the reds nicely spread. Just 10 points between them.
Thank you.
I just saw from those stats there, Zhao isn't as good at keeping Ronnie out. It's perhaps the other way around at long range, because he's given another chance here. Oh, the yellow pots. He really does ping these, Sullivan, these days. He's back to his long potting game. This is where the left-handedness comes in handy.
3.
He's been outscored this evening, O'Sullivan. Probably got pretty favourable odds on that at the outset, but he is such a competitor.
4.
He's been on the end of a battering here, actually. It's kind of what he used to do to people when he was a teenager, older players. I know he's only 3-2 down, but anyone who's watched the match will know what I mean.
2 centuries and an 80 from Zhao. O'Sullivan with 85 and 50. half-century break in a losing cause in the previous frame. But still every chance of taking this the distance. The match is only an
60.
hour and 8 minutes old.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. And as a complete neutral, I'd love to see this go to a decider.
70.
Chance to just flick the red away that's to the right of the black.
Well, there you go. 11 and a half minutes of play. And that's outstanding. Very instinctive players who seem to be
24.
capable of thinking 4 or 5 shots ahead.
Yeah, and the shot on the black was outstanding as well.
25.
Still work to do. He's got a ball's width too far. He knows he's got the cannon on the 2 reds from the pink, but I don't believe he's sure that it'll land him on one. But what other choices does he have? He's probably just got to play it and hope. Yep, he had no real idea there. Very rare for O'Sullivan to guess, but he had to.
31.
So things have gone awry for O'Sullivan. Well, at least it looks as though it has.
Great recovery, but again, still pressure on the next shot. Through bulk, down for the next red. Probably the one that he's closest to. Well, he'll be happy to see that red in the jaws. He sentenced that 3 or 4 shots in a row, pressure had been mounting on O'Sullivan. Hasn't got to do it in one visit all the time. Got to use his experience from here.
That's not gone to plan though for Zhao. This is the miss from O'Sullivan, and we've seen that cue ball fly down to the business end of the table again in the event. Stuck in the drawers. Going to look it up, and now O'Sullivan back at the table.
Does he really want to play on the red? There's a question if he's not got the angle to get on it. Oh, extraordinary effort there. All that side. I still don't know if he wants to play on the red. I think many players would be looking very seriously at playing a safety shot.
Well, there's nothing safe if he misses it.
Yeah, I think he might have played the wrong shot there, getting on this red. If it goes in, all the better. Ronnie should have waited one.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
he should have either not gone for the pink or played on the pink, knocked it in with a view to playing a 100% safety shot. He's getting a little bit carried away, I think. It was risky.
Zhao's been fortunate there to obscure the cue ball with the green. Semi-Chinese snooker, I guess. $29 the difference.
But nothing difficult on the table at all. It's almost who pots the red wins the frame. Well, Ronnie could use the pink and black as a shield here to get the cue ball in behind them, knock the red up the table. Well, he's got the snooker anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Scully and our referee just noting the position of the cue ball in case Zhao fouls it.
Well. That was very fortunate. You wonder if it's going to be his night, don't you, when you see that? I just think Ronnie needs to calm himself down a little bit. He's a bit sometimes keep a bit frenetic. In terms, the youngster's got him at it a little bit.
Well, let's be honest, Zhao has outplayed O'Sullivan so far this evening, but he's not yet won. It's not something that O'Sullivan is particularly used to either, being put in the shade by a potting masterclass from a guy who is relatively very wet behind the ears.
Here's an occasion where Ronnie has got a choice between the double or a chance to play a really telling safety shot. And this time, it goes in. I think they're in for an absolute nail biter here.
That was frame ball, barring snookers. And it looks as though we are going the distance, and it's fitting. It's been a terrific battle. O'Sullivan hasn't been at his best, but that's a lot to do with the quality of Zhao's game. He's been frozen out for periods. Zhao has been doing the lion's share of the scoring, but O'Sullivan using all of his guile and his wealth of experience to find a way to give himself the chance to come through nonetheless. It's down to a one-frame shootout.
I'd expect Ronnie to just take a comfort break after this frame and take a little stroll, get his composure back. I think he lost it for a while there.
90.
He's playing so well, but a lot of the game is played between the ears. Sometimes matching such potting is difficult to do.
26.
Either way, don't switch over because this is brilliant.
33.
English Open. This is a terrific tussle between the master and the young apprentice, Xintong. O'Sullivan levels at 3 apiece. We're going all the way in Manchester. A big roar for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Frame.
As Neil
Zhao
Coles
Xintong
predicted, he did nip out of the auditorium for a bathroom break to gather his thoughts. He's been put through the ringer at times this evening against young Zhao Xintong. That's not a great break-off, though, from the young Chinese in this deciding frame. It's been an absolutely compelling match. An hour and 15 minutes of pure snooker entertainment. Good deal of it provided by the 19-year-old Neil. That mistake could be costly.
Well, it's the old drifting red that can happen off that break-off shot. Not quite why it ends up down there. You probably hit the bottom red too thick, but it's given Ronnie first poke here. And that's exactly what he's hoping for.
A relatively modest evening for O'Sullivan on the break building stakes. 85 in the third frame is best. He's made a couple of 30s, a 40, a 50, which was a frame he actually lost, the fifth, to fall 3-2 behind. It's been Zhao with the eye-catching scoring, 2 century breaks, including that quite brilliant 130 clearance.
12.
Well, that is not a good shot from O'Sullivan. He overhit there. Now the cue ball goes into the bunch. Last thing he wanted here.
13.
What a recovery shot that is, by the way. He knows no other way, O'Sullivan, you know, to counteract someone
18.
trying to pop all the balls against him. He just tries to pop more balls. At some point in his career that's not going to be possible, but it doesn't seem to be yet.
Yeah, you mentioned
19.
that he became a bit frenetic in the previous frame, and I think that's a pride thing. He does not want to be put in the shade in any way, shape or form. He's just not something he's used to.
Well, even that shot, not everyone at that point in the decider would have gone into the bunch.
26.
But the fact that he did, he's got big rewards for it.
And already
27.
things looking a little bit ominous for the 19-year-old from China. After that mistake with the break-off. Those are the margins when you're playing one of the all-time greats.
34.
And again, the cannon
35.
played despite two other reds up the table, which other players perhaps would have played safe with, knocking those in. Really, the table is at his mercy now. He's created this all on his own. Okay, he got the opening red to go at, but he's made the rest happen.
42.
Looking to save his best till last.
43.
Placing the round of 32 up for grabs, of course.
$48.
The crowd have certainly been richly rewarded for hanging around. It's been a long day. Had some long
49.
matches. Had quite a few surprise results as well. Mark Selby, the biggest casualty on this third day. Sean Murphy bowing out to Liang. Stephen Maguire, despite an excellent performance, losing to Ryan Day in another 4-3 thriller.
54.
Still work to do here, though, to ensure Ronnie wins. He's not over the line.
55.
Now, is he going to the bunch for what will be the third time in the break? Choices to make. If you could play on the right-hand red and get onto the black from it, points-wise, you'd have enough. So it doesn't necessarily have to go into these this time. That's a very calculated decision from O'Sullivan. I completely understand it. Most other time, he'd split the 5 reds,
62.
playing to the scoreboard.
But he's missed the red, and he missed it by
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 62.
quite a margin. So having played the percentages there, O'Sullivan, he wasn't able to see a reveal. And that's very unusual. He can't believe it.
Well, he knows. He knows that it's not over. Very surprising, having played the right shot. Well, he's never looked more under pressure than now, sitting there, knowing that he was on the brink of winning a great match. Mercifully for O'Sullivan, the plant wasn't there. Ronnie would quite like to leave that red where it's finished, actually, on the right cushion. That was never on, was it? That red on the right is saving the day for O'Sullivan.
And a red and a high-value colour would be enough to leave Zhao requiring a snooker in this decider. Pretty close.
Where's his colour coming from here? If this is not straight, perhaps he can stand up for a bulk colour.
1.
And he's just managed to get enough on there to get on the blue. That was well played.
He won the 5th frame from 50 points adrift with a wonderful clearance of 80. Can he get himself back into this 7th and final frame?
I don't know if he played the cannon. I'm surprised if he did. I think he just played on the
6.
low red. He's still on that one.
Seven.
Well, surely he's not going to play to knock the red out at this stage. I think he's got to try and get some points back, and that's very well played indeed. That's just such a good shot. Can't tell you how
10.
easy he made it look.
just seems so
11.
sure of himself when he's in the balls. There's no flicker of hesitation about what he's trying to do.
He doesn't want to push the red or the pink
18.
safe here that he's going to go into. He wants to make sure they stay in the middle of the table. It's not helping if that happens at all.
Oh no, he took his eye off the pot. I don't think that was
Xintong,
pressure.
18.
It was just a slight lapse in concentration. We've seen precious few of those this evening when he's been in amongst them. But that is surely going to spell curtains for Zhao.
And the quickest I've seen O'Sullivan move tonight is out of his chair there to get this chance that he didn't expect.
45 the lead, just 43 on. And a shame, really, if that is to be the shot that cost Zhao the match. It was very uncharacteristic of the performance he's put in. O'Sullivan knows he's been in a match.
6.
Yeah, he knows. He'd love to have that one again.
I think Ronnie will be full of respect and give good compliments to Zhao if he wins this match, which it looks like he now will.
Thank you.
Don't think
Ronnie
there's any doubt
O'Sullivan,
about
6.
that. .50 the difference, 43 on, 2 snookers required as things stand.
You really want to play the thin cut, wins the match, but he might not want to. Oh, he does want to play it, and now is the match. Philip has kind of really enjoyed.
A whirlwind hour and 24 minutes. It's been fabulous entertainment. What a way to finish the 3rd day of the inaugural English Open.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
And it's
1.
a match. This audience want to get them, Harry. They want to get the talent we've seen this evening. But Ronnie O'Sullivan, perhaps the greatest talent of them all. And he's found a way to win. Outplayed for large chunks of that match. He's come through nonetheless by 4 frames to 3.